Okay. All right. So this is the April 21st DD Council meeting. And today we're lucky enough to have Stacey Hoffman from the Safe Project. Is it Safe Life Project program? Going to be our guest speaker. So let's talk about a couple of things first. I am glad to report that Sue Gilmore is out of rehab. She is at home. She's resting comfortably, but she's not allowed to participate in any of our DD council meetings because she is on disability at this point. And another good aspect is I wound up hearing finally from Roger Chapman. I've been leaving messages for him at home,
Can you hear it?
but he hasn't been
She had
been
an
home.
injury at work. I'll tell you later.
And he does
okay?
have a new
They
cell
started
phone
the
number.
meeting and they're recording it.
So for those of you who'd like to communicate with Roger, you can email me and I'll give you his new private cell phone number. Mike and Natalie, do you have something that you'd like to announce to all the council members?
Yes, we're moving up to Valley Springs, so this is our last meeting.
So you're gracefully going to resign from our council, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, well, I really want to thank you guys for hanging in there. How many years has it been you've been on the council?
Like 3 or 4,
Yeah, it's been a
something
little
like
while.
that.
All right, well, we'll definitely miss you. And if you want to come and get an invite, I'd be more than glad to send it to you. You can participate, you know, as general public.
We will
And
like
you're
that.
still going to be staying in the day program that you're attending, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. Patty, in the last meeting, you did ask about the Take Me Home Safely website. I did contact Christy Owazu from Alta Regional. She did talk to me on Monday, and she kind of said that the Take Me Home Safely website is kind of taking on another life of its own. I think initially when we put it together with Alta Regional, the intention is to have the Take Me Home Safely website out there for the sheriff's department, police department, fire department, and all the ambulance services to allow for them to know where any of the individuals might live. What Stacy or what Christy wound up telling me is that the Take Me Home Safely website now is primarily used for the criminally oriented people who don't want to give out their name and phone number to individuals. So Alta has them registered with the photo and their specific information on where they live and what care home or what, where they live in the community. So Patty, the answer is that yes, they're still using it, but it's kind of taken on a different, different attitude. So, we'll see what happens with that. All right.
Can you hear me, Steve?
Yes, we can hear you.
Fine, thank you.
And we got Patty on the line with you?
Yes, Patty's.
Good. Okay.
I'm on the
All
line.
right. So I did convey the message over to Roger and to Sue about Maureen reciting a document to the Alta Board of Directors last month. And I think Stacy was actually there who listened to it also. But Maureen, did you want to discuss that real briefly of what you had talked about in the meeting?
Well, this past year with COVID, I've been Zoom listening to all the Alta committee meetings and the board meeting. And starting last September, with no explanation, no discussion, no anything, the committee chair started reading the statement saying why they weren't going to take public comment and that these committees weren't authorized in whatever sense of being a committee under the Lanterman Act. And so I wrote them a letter in March saying, this isn't legal. You can't just change the Lanterman Act by reading this statement at the beginning of every committee meeting. And they hadn't responded. So the last Alta board meeting last month during public comment, I restated, I haven't heard back from you. It's not legal what you're doing. You're denying the public the ability to make comments, and I still haven't heard back from them. So this week I'm going to contact DDS because they're clearly violating the law. You can't, the committee's under the Lanterman Act for the board. It says you're supposed to have public comment. I mean, it says that in the Lanterman Act. And the big deal, and then I'm done, I don't get why they'd want to stop public comment. Nobody comments. Nobody comments. Maybe one person on the whistleblower policy in the last year, but anyway, they're being stinkers.
Maureen, do they still have that comment line? Anonymous comment line that you can call and leave a message?
But no, I've already written them a letter, not for the county council, but for myself. I already wrote the full board and Phil Bonet a letter explaining, including the statement that they're reading. I got a copy of it from the board secretary and said, this is not legal, and challenged them and asked them to, clean it up. And then my statement to the board during public comment was, you're not legal. And why would you do this to the public? So if they're not even going to give me the benefit of a response, anyway, I'm going to go to DDS, and I've reached out to ARCA, but ARCA says they're not an enforcing body, but I think I may still send a letter to ARCA. I realize this is being taped, a letter to ARCA saying one of your troops is basically saying to the public, you don't matter. And we'll see what happens. The irony of it is that the incoming next Association of Regional Centers ARCA president come July is our own board president doing it. Rita Walker is the incoming next president for ARCA. So if I send a letter to all the ARCA officers, I got their names and the executive director. Anyway, it's just so silly. And I'm done.
So in the process of her reading this whole thing, all of the board members were like looking with their mouths open, how dare somebody make comment and criticize what they're doing. And I thought it was quite commendable that you had the nerve to do it. I really do. We'll see if it's even in the minutes of the board meeting.
Maureen, can I ask a question just to clarify?
Sure.
You're talking about subcommittees of the board of directors. The actual board of directors meeting is where you talked, but you're talking about subcommittees. Is that correct?
Executive, finance,
Okay.
board development.
Okay.
They've got a 40-page, according to their description, a 40-page bylaws change coming up. And their committee that would send it to the board won't be allowing public comment. I mean, it's nuts.
So, as I said, I thought it was very commendable that Maureen turned around and read this whole thing and everyone's mouth was open like, are you kidding? So Roger and Sue got a real kick out of that. So I just want to let you know, Maureen, I did have to share that with them.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
He called me too.
Like
we'll
I
see
said,
if
if they would just put it back on. I mean, I haven't even commented once except at this board meeting in the whole past year. Nobody comments hardly. And it wouldn't even matter if lots of people did. But like I said, the simplest question is why? Why would you take the energy to do this?
So we'll see if Maureen and I get invited to the next board meeting, and also if it's even in the minutes of the March board meeting, if we get emailed a copy of it, all right? All right, changing the subject, March's minutes. Did anyone get a chance to review it? Anyone like to consider approving it? That was a no, Michael?
Approve.
Yep.
Okay. All right, there we go.
And
Did I
Patty
misspell
Pacheco
anybody's name?
seconded.
Okay, did I misspell anybody's name or anything? No, okay. All right, so Susan, you want the floor? Would you want to introduce yourself and your program? And it's great to see you again. You have to unmute yourself, Susan.
Okay, there we go. All right, Stacey should be joining us any second.
Great.
And I know many of you, Stacey and I were on the board many years ago, and we had been working on a grant to develop personal safety training, healthy relationships for individuals with disabilities. And that grant completed, we went back to our classrooms and have retired. So we continue working on abuse prevention, and felt like that we needed to, we saw that school districts, not enough school districts were teaching. We had developed this great curriculum, but and we were just, we got it out there quite a bit, but we just felt like there needed to be more. And so we started a nonprofit, Safe Life Project, and Safe Life Project is vendored through the regional center. It took a long time to get that through because we're different than anything they had before, and they didn't quite know what to do with us. But finally we got approval to teach classes. So I do have a PowerPoint to share.
Oh, great.
So let me just,
Whatever you show on the
oh,
PowerPoint,
thank you.
Susan, whatever you show on the PowerPoint, is there any way you can email
Yeah,
me so I can print it
yeah,
out,
sure.
put it a part of the minutes? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see, screen share. Why is this different? This is different than I had seen before. Huh. Give me just a second. Sorry, it's just acting different than I'm used to.
Yeah, you should be able to do screen share and then select your document, and then sometimes you have to say share again. There you go. You got it.
Yeah, it's just I'm used to being part screen, sharing part of the screen. And this is all of the screen. Okay, so actually
There you go.
There you go. That looks good.
okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because I got a story and then I'll go back. So this has happened in one of our classes, and Stacey, this was her class. She was at one of our classes.
Susan?
Yeah, oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you knew I was here. Hi, everybody.
Oh, I did.
Was I late?
So
I'm
go ahead with your story. Are you ready for your story?
Sure. So how long did you, so we're just going to give
We're just ready for your story.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me get my story ready.
And then I'll screen
right.
share the PowerPoint.
Okay. Yeah, I've got everything ready, Susan, if you want me to screen share. Was I late, you guys?
Okay.
I'm very sorry if I was late.
You're fine.
Okay. I thought it was 9:15. Okay, here we go. So we, well, I don't know how much Susan told you, but on a wing and a prayer, we've been, devoted to abuse prevention just because of our experience with as being teachers, educators. We saw this need early on, way back. And following that path, we, we're dedicated to do something about it, and committed ourselves. And that's what we did. So lo and behold, here we are today, and we've got a nonprofit that is doing classes, and we just did it. I mean, we'd never didn't know how to set this kind of stuff up, but we got books and taught ourselves. And so this is just one of our experiences with one of our students. So I'm just going to tell you, let's see here. So it's a quick story. Jessica age, I don't know if Susan told you, but we serve all ages. I think our youngest has been 7, and they go all the way up to, I think we had somebody that was 60 one time in our classes. And we're going to tell you a little more about that later. But here's a typical story of when one of the many kind of validating experiences that let us know that this makes a difference, and it's so needed. Jessica, 16, she came in on the very first day of class, and I greeted her. I didn't know her. I knew her a little bit, but not very much. I knew her a little bit from a pre-assessment. Anyway, she came in and I proceeded to introduce her to her teachers. I was kind of overseeing a site where we had several classes going at the same time. Anyway, she had this really exasperated look on her face. And I asked her, I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I do not want to be here." And she quickly, launched into a soliloquy listing all the reasons that she did not want a Safe Life class. Her mother was making her do this, She said, "I know I've had these classes before. I know it's not going to work for me." That's what she said. She said, "I just took a class at the Mind Institute and it was so boring." And then she said, "What do you think they're going to teach me?" And she said, "I am not being here." She said, "I do not need this. And I'm only here because my mother made me come, and I'm doing one class and then that's it." Well, I kind of gently tried to redirect Jessica, into having kind of a little more of a positive direction, but she was not having anything, with what I had to say. She had decided that she was going to suffer through this one class, this one time, and then we were never going to see her again, period. So she was really quiet during that first class. She did participate only when called upon. But when the class was over and she was leaving the room, she glanced at me for just a second. And then she kind of whispered and she goes, "It wasn't too bad," like that. And then the next week she came back. And in the weeks that followed, she was never absent. And very often she was the very first student to arrive. And she was the one in her class that was responsible for her teachers calling me in to help answer some of the questions. One of her questions was, "How do gay people have sex with each other?" Of course, the teachers called me in to help with that one. I don't know why, but anyway. When COVID hit, Jessica was very grateful that we made a commitment that we were going to try to continue classes with Zoom, because it happened right in the middle of her session. So she was really, really relieved, and she let us all know that because she really wanted to finish. She was also one of the first ones to ask, if there was going to be follow-up, in-person follow-up when all the COVID stuff settled down. Well, you know what? We have had a lot of Jessicas, and they all remind us of how important it is for our kids, especially our kids with challenges, to have an opportunity to learn important and empowering information and skills in a safe and supportive environment. And we really have a responsibility to work hard to help kids and give them a chance and help them survive in this crazy world. No matter what their learning style is, the information that we give them helps them not to be tricked and exploited and abused, and they have a right to learn that information. So we continue to see, the statistics from the U.S. Department of Education and the Department of Justice, and they're reporting the violent victimization, the rate of it, especially for persons with disabilities, and it continues to tell us that the rate is much higher than it is for people without disabilities. And they also report that the age group with the highest victimization rate is 16 through 19 years of age. And lo and behold, as it has turned out with our referrals, that is our very highest group that we are serving. It's mostly 12 to 19-year-olds. that's the biggest number of referrals that we get. So that's our little story to open up. And do you want me to screen share, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay, so hi, Steve, are you the one that'll make me co-host?
Yes.
Okay.
You already are.
Oh, I'm already co-host.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, should be good.
Okay, here we go. Let me pull that right up. I got it already, maybe. Okay, here we go. Okay. Well, I think I lied. 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I'm sorry, you guys. So Susan, you kind of told everybody a little bit of the about the Safe Life Project and stuff, and I don't know what you.
A tiny bit, yes. I just told a tiny bit how we taught and decided when we retired that these classes needed to be continue. You know, we wanted more kids to have it, and
right.
And as our you know, that, oh my gosh, that victimization rate is just incredible. It is incredible, and it's so it just, as Stacey said, that little joke, found the classes interesting. She so many of our clients are feeling that same way. They really, really appreciate getting this education. So do their family.
I'm going to interrupt 1 second. This is just a little different from what I'm used to. So I'm trying to do a screen share with a portion of the screen, and I'm going to advanced. I'm not seeing the option for portion of screen. Do I?
Yeah, I didn't either.
So let me.
I think you just have to go to basic.
I can go to Microsoft PowerPoint, but I want to be able to see my Word. Basic. So do you guys know how to do a portion of the screen? No? Anybody? No? Okay. All right. Let me just, I guess I'll just, I know what I can do. Okay. But Susan, just make sure you have your notes because I may not be able to see my notes. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys will have to tell me what you're seeing because I'm not, I can go 5. Oh, I see it. I see the green thing. Oh, but it's not letting me manipulate. So 1 minute, I'm almost there. Yeah, not letting me manipulate. So I will go view and I will go presenter view. Okay. So again, Susan, I'm going to depend. Do you guys see the slide now? Do you
Yes.
see it? And you just see the one slide that says Safe Life Project. Do you see my cursor?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So Susan told you, Safe Life Project. We Alta refers. We got vendorized by Alta, and they refer students to us. And you guys, we were really excited to share with you because at this point, Susan and I are a little bit overwhelmed. We thought that when we started this, we were just going to be doing about 2 classes per year, maybe 12 kids in each class. And my gosh, we've done already this year, we did 5. And now, right now we're ending 15 classes. So oh my gosh, we have scrambled to run this nonprofit, which we really, we haven't done this before, but so we're hiring teachers. We do know teachers. So that's the good thing. We know how to hire good teachers and we know how to train them. So that's really helped a lot. But anyway, we're going to get to that in a minute. This is, a little bit of the rationale and information. Yeah, the real shocker was when we long time ago, we found out that the kids that we were working with as teachers, there was a very high rate of kids under the age of 18, which were our kids, our students that were sexually abused before the age of 18. Before the age of 18. And Susan, do you remember those numbers for boys and girls?
18 to 37% for boys and I forget, girls were.
like 64 or something, 64%. Yeah, very high rate of victimization. So that really spurred us to work with this. And these are more current statistics, but they're still kind of old. But the problem has remained. The problem has remained. So there we go. We got our Safe Life nonprofit organization. We're rolling. We worked, when we developed the model, we worked really hard to set up our board so that we have multiple perspectives, including people with disabilities, administrators. If you look over here, teachers, there are parents of kids with disabilities. We have a college person right here we were very grateful to have her. She's actually my sister-in-law, but she is the Dean of Distance Education, which came in really handy when we had COVID hit, because she helped us with all the Zoom stuff. This is a little old. We usually have 2 people with disabilities on our board. We do have a few openings right now, but we do try for a multi-perspective. That's our goal, is to have a lot of different perspectives, because that's what we believe in. And then, okay, go ahead, Susan. I'll shut up for a minute.
Okay, so our, let me here. Our vision is to empower individuals with disabilities, including autism, with skills and knowledge to help stop abuse and help them live happy and healthy lives with healthy relationships. That relationship thing is a huge problem right now, especially with the internet. Oh my gosh, you would not believe the number of people who are having trouble. Their kids are getting in trouble with online relationships. So we really want to empower those kids and give them that information. And our mission is to get this out. We do not want to see it stop. The classes are really effective and we want to see them keep going. It took us a while to get Zoom going, approved. We want to have online classes or hybrid classes. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was a struggle to get that, but we have seen that it really is effective, much more effective than we thought it would be, and it enables us to serve people in a wide area. Driving isn't a problem. Getting people to classes isn't as much of a problem.
What's hybrid mean?
So we had originally done
Maureen, that means in person and computer.
But I didn't know we were having any in person. Okay, that's what I thought, but okay, thank you.
I mean, that's my understanding.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. We originally, when we wrote our program plan for Alta Regional, they want you to tell you exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen and when, where, and all that, which of course they have to do. They're under a lot of restrictions. So our original program plan, we did a pretty good job, but once we implemented what was on paper, there were changes. And the original program plan was all in-person classes. Well, we saw, actually before COVID even hit, we wanted to expand and be able to offer some online alternatives, for people that there's a lot of kids in care homes that have transportation problems. I mean, it's been an age-old problem. Parents are just busy with all their kids. The other thing was we're going to get to this in a minute, but we are really committed to having appropriate classes for students. And that means they have to be of like age and like ability level. you know, we're not just going to put them all together because they need a class. So we've been Alta didn't want us to have waiting lists, but we did in the beginning more so have some waiting lists because the kids that were referred didn't all fit together. So we said, we're going to wait till we have more before we open a class. And then we tried to open classes all over in community locations so that, you know, they were in the kids' vicinity and they could get there. Well, we have some kids that are referred from Esparto, you know, they can't drive once a week. It's, you know, it's just a problem. So online alternative options solve that problem, you know? So we were pushing for that in a revised program plan, but Alta said, no, they did not want anything. They didn't know what to do with an online suggestion for online services. But then COVID hit. And then they said, well, we don't want you to stop classes. So, you know, we're gonna give you a waiver that you can continue these classes using the internet so that you can continue services. So we got that. And right now, it's been more than a year. We still have our revised program plan with Alta and we're waiting for them to approve it. And it does include, yeah, Maureen, that what we call the hybrid model, where it's in-person classes, but there is an option for people to do online. Right now, they're all online. We're hoping to go back to having in-person classes, those starting in the next semester, which will be August.
So Stacy and Susan,
Yeah.
this is Steve. Are you vendored with all the 13 counties that Alta provides services for?
Yeah, all about counties. But we have not been able to serve all of them yet because the in-person classes, we didn't have enough teachers. You know, it was just Stacy and I when we started, and we've had to add more teachers, but we don't have enough teachers to offer, you know. In Lake Tahoe, we thought we were going to get a class, but there again, there wouldn't be enough clients in Lake Tahoe of the same age and ability level to pull a class together. So that's why we really want to continue the online classes, even though we'll have some in-person classes as well. Those online classes have been wonderful in helping these clients get to classes that meet their need, you know, in a group that meets their need. It's been great. So we're really hoping that when the governor says, okay, we're all back to normal, Alta's not going to say no more online. That will be really bad.
We have had a lot of we've had interest in a lot of inquiries too from like the Bay Area regional center there, and Susan said Lake Tahoe, and so they have heard down south too. They have heard
San
about
Diego.
They do call and ask, but so far, and I know it's coming. I know it's coming, but somebody's got to take initiative in those places and say, okay, you know, what do we need to do? And we will be glad to help them. We've told them that. We will be glad if they want to refer individual clients till they get set up and let them do online. We're open to all of that. That's not a problem at this point with Zoom. So we'll see.
How do you think Alta decides who to refer to you? Because when we asked you to speak, I was looking at the Alta website and I can't find you. So are you getting referrals of people who are already in jeopardy, or are we?
You know, that's a very good question. You know what, Maureen, I'm pretty sure it's word of mouth among the service coordinators. I'm pretty sure. Because we have new service coordinators that are calling all the time saying, I just heard about you from another SC and I've got this client, blah, blah, blah. And that happens a lot. And we do have a program manager that has a really good connection with the service coordinators because she used to be a service coordinator, and she knows that system. But they had we had to fill out like an overview, page or a couple pages that they said goes into their vendor, I don't know, their vendor book or something. And all the service coordinators have access to that. It's just like, of all the services that are available. But I guess it's up to the service coordinators to find it,
I know you have at this point, you have some limits on how many classes you can provide and what you can do, but I wish there was a way that families and individuals could know about you to self-refer.
Well, some do.
Some do.
About
And again, word of mouth among the families, and that happens too.
Right.
Yeah. But
Or they find us on the website.
So what is the model? How many classes is the class? And you talked about the school district, but I'm confused about then how it's set up for adults.
So we have classes, there's 12 classes per session. They're like an hour and a half long.
Oh.
And so it's once a week for 12 weeks. We have 12 lesson topics in that we cover. And so each week is a new lesson topic.
How long, excuse me?
And
I should show them that. I should show them that chart, huh? But go ahead, Susan.
I'm sorry.
yeah, so
How long is each class?
The class is an hour and a half, but some of the classes we have some that are shorter. We have had a couple of groups where the attention span was just a little too long. So those classes have been about an hour, but surprisingly, those classes very often end up going over, and those kids do, again, it seems like it's always our limitations we put on them. We think, oh, that's going to be too much for them, but then it's not. We're still see that, you'd think we'd learn by now, but anyway.
But fortunately, we have open minds and we look for that kind of thing, and we go the full mile for those guys. And sometimes at the end of a class session, depending on the age of the people, especially with the adults, they want to continue getting together after the class, and they do social networking in that way.
So how do you get the reports for adults?
So we have like 6 to 8 in class, or 6 to 9, and then we've got 9 to 11, and we have 11 to 14 and 14 to 17. So we break up our age groups, and then we have 14 to 18, and then we have 18 to 24, and then we'll have adults. So, and each one of those age groups, we have ability level. So, and we do a pre-assessment with each of our clients before we meet. We have an assessment team of 2 people, and we'll do an assessment so we can judge where that person needs to be what class that person needs to be in. And we're pretty good. Sometimes we, make a mistake and we'll move class, but we're pretty good getting the ability levels and getting the people they need to be, so that they need a lot of concrete help. They get it. If they are some of these guys are like, are bright, but they don't have those social skills, or they don't see signs. And so we've got those guys together too. And they've, that grouping has really, really been good with keeping clients interested in classes and wanting to come, like that. Jessica really find that. So we started all kinds of ways, but what we've landed is we offer a fall session, August to November approximately, and then we offer a January to May in their session. And that's worked pretty well. Some people would like more if we need it's possible that we could offer a summer session, but right now this is workable for us. We have about 10 teachers hired, a good assessment team, but
So
what we
Susan,
really-
I don't know if it's just me, but your audio is going a little bit in and out. And so I don't know if you
Yeah,
can
shoot,
move to a better
okay.
place. And then I just want to double check to make sure
Right.
what Susan said was all real important information about how the process of how the kids are how we determine what class they go into. So I just want to be sure you heard her. And
We
you don't
heard her.
have
Stacy, we heard her.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we're good. So Stacy and Susan, I did send you a chat. Take a look at it before we leave the meeting today.
A text?
A chat. I left you a message in the chat line.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
great.
okay.
Well, this is an
Oh,
exciting program.
yeah, so,
Yeah. We
Do you
had,
have
Stacy, we had talked about before, I think you came on, the Take Me Home Safely website that the DD Council implemented maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And basically, it was a website that Alta would use to have all the case managers and police, sheriff department, ambulance, and fire department know who the Alta clients are, but it's taken on a different life that they're using the website only for the criminally oriented Alta clients, because a lot of them don't want to let the law enforcement people know really where they live. So if they're registered on this website with their picture and everything, then the authorities would really know who they are and where they belong. Yeah. So this is a really good program here.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're
I'll send you
trying
the-
here.
Well, I'll send both of you the invite for the Alta coffee meeting that happens every Friday at 11 o'clock. John Decker conducts it. It's not going to be this Friday. He's taking off, but it is every Friday. And I think one of you should probably attend that meeting so you can publicize what your program is all about, because as John Decker said last Friday, half of the Alta case managers don't even know what alternative services are after a year.
Wow. Wow.
So
I have a question.
go right ahead, Patty.
Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Did you go over what the criteria is? Like, how would someone qualify, as well as what the vendor code is? Like, why would I refer someone to the program? Is there something I saw, or is it a pre-assessment, the case manager? How do you, and I don't know, maybe I missed it. I'm sorry if I did.
I'm gonna get my plug. I'm
No,
gonna
you
let
didn't miss it. It's so anybody, like, generally we have a referral and it has to be an IPP team decision, but generally we see Mary is, starting to go online and meet people online, or somebody is not, they think that they are too friendly. They'll go up to strangers and talk to any stranger, and they might go with someone. So if anyone has a concern, they'll refer them to us. Also, we talk about relationships and your body, and go through puberty and stuff. And so sometimes, it'll be a 13-year-old and the mom will say, I don't know how to teach my kid about this. Please, I'd like them to do that. So we have a lesson topic survey that Alta Regional has, and many of the service coordinators take it to their IPP and they say, here is a service that, you might be interested in. And then the parent will say yes or no, or the client, depending on their age, and they'll get referred. And everyone that is referred to us, an assessment on, We've only had a few that we have decided they were not eligible at this time. And that would be one had a drug problem and was not doing well, was not really stable and not interested in working on the drug problem. And we figured if they're not, if they're not in the correct mindset, they're not going to gain from the class. And so we would wait until they were in rehab or whatever. We have had one with the mental health issues that wasn't on the medication, they weren't stable. So those would be cases where we would not find them eligible right now, but they could come back later.
So Susan, it's relationship. It's basically relationship like sex ed or something. I mean, not as opposed to like financial abuse, like people getting into, taking advantage of.
So, right. We start with our Olympics start with getting along in a group, so group learning, so that we've set some ground rules. So we go into emergency drills and how to respond in emergencies. Then we talk about feelings, and then we talk about the problem of abuse, that people with disabilities are abused more often than others. We go to safety skills. Stacey's pulling up that chart.
Can't see it.
Vocabulary.
So here's the lesson topics right here. These
Okay.
there's 12 of them right there in that column, you can see. And then this is just a short description in column B. And then you can see the lesson topic and stays the same for all the ages. This is pre-K and this is elementary, intermediate, and adult. It stays the same, but it's presented at age appropriate levels. So those are all different classes, and they're all, the ages are all different level classes.
Right.
But each class covers all of these 12 lessons. So that's the group learning ground rules that Susan was talking about. That's always the first lesson. We do emergency preparedness and response. That's a really, really good one for those kids, because a lot of our kids, it's not enough to, typically in schools, they do a little bit of drill practice, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Our kids need a lot of practice and repeated information. Feelings and self and others. This is abuse awareness, which is just kind of an introduction to, abuse and all the different kinds. Somebody was mentioning, I think I've got down here. Let's see, we cover physical abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, cyber abuse, and things that are not abuse. I think
and fiduciary abuse too. Fiduciary abuse.
Yes. So there's is just language, some language concepts for safety, the human body, and taking care of your bodies. We teach the names and the jobs of all body parts, private and common, because kids need that information. Otherwise, they don't know. It helps them with reporting when something is wrong, not just abuse, but health problems as well. So that's real important. And then problem solving, personal safety skills, critical thinking, following. This one's real big on directions. So many of our kids follow all directions. We give them a lot of practice in questioning. Huh?
Stacey, let me interrupt you. If you can, please email me these documents so then I can share them with all of the council members.
Okay.
Because of time situation, I have to attend
Sure.
DD council or another Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock. Do any of the council members have
All right.
Sorry, Steve.
or Susan and Stacey?
Okay.
I just think it's wonderful that you've dedicated your retirement years to doing something that's benefiting so many people. This is wonderful, and I hope it can continue to expand.
Thank you, Maureen. Yeah, it's very rewarding. So yeah,
Is there anything we can do as a council to help you guys out?
Well,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Susan.
We're looking for someone to help us and maybe take over, or umbrella organization. This is growing huge, has potential to grow huge, but we're retired now and we're not, in the spot, we're not 30 anymore to be able to grow with this, it can be bigger. I don't want to see it. Neither of us want to see it fold, but we're really in a spot where, maybe 2 years, we want to be able to hand over. So if you could, if you come across in your daily lives, people who you think would be good to come work with us or something, let us know.
Teachers, we're always hiring teachers, looking for good teachers, and yeah,
Okay.
that would be great. We are on the big day of giving, so maybe spread the word on that if somebody's looking for. Yeah. All right, that's it. Thank
Yeah, we
you.
can
Thank
definitely
you.
use the word. Ladies, thank you very much. I really appreciate you
All right. Thank
giving your
you.
time today.
Sure.
Thank you very much. It was good to see everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye, Maureen. Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
I've got, Steve, we have time for I was going to propose those 2 letters.
yes, go right ahead.
Quickly, I was, being able to do these meetings via Zoom and now them being available for somebody else to see on YouTube. The State Council and Sonia this has been such a great help to us. I thought it's time for the council to send a letter to the State Council thanking them for making Sonia available and the Zoom feature available for us to have our meeting. So my motion is that we send a thank you letter to the State Council, and you'll all see the draft ahead of time.
Second.
Well, against my better judgment, I would definitely second it.
Good. And the other one is Marty Yamoto, who we've had come to our meetings, who's the forever advocate. He put out a recent, one of his mailings, and I'd read about it in the news. The federal COVID last relief package has some money for low-income individuals to be supported in seeking internet access and I guess getting the hardware like a Chromebook. And there's a opening application period, I think April 26th. As of yesterday, I've been going to the Alta website, their Facebook and Twitter to see if there's any publicity on this, and I'm on their email list. I thought, and this was an issue for our county council where we were asking Alta to look into how many people of their clients don't have access to the internet and hardware, et cetera. I think we should send a letter to Alta board and Phil Bonet simply saying, we haven't yet seen any publicity. Maybe you're planning it, but we want to encourage Alta to publicize the availability of this program for people to get money to connect to the internet and get the hardware. And also we ought to maybe suggest to them, they could help publicize how clients could sign up for the $600 one-time grants in the state budget. Just a letter just saying, maybe you're thinking of this, but we really think this needs some publicity. These are real opportunities for our clients on an issue of concern to both the board and to us. That's my proposal.
Definitely seconded. I think it's a great idea. What about the letter to the Board of Supervisors? I don't think we even talked about.
We sent it to everybody. I've heard back from most of you. It was the follow-up letter to the board that I was really late on, that was talking about Chris McCann's presentation on the regional center and parents starting to understand the need to develop more friendly homes for persons who develop Alzheimer's and dementia, and persons with Down syndrome disproportionately develop Alzheimer's, Down syndrome, and they're all living longer, and that the regional center needs. We were sending a letter to the Board of Supervisors about the need for more information on it, and it's the one I sent you the draft on. And we had already approved it, Steve, back then, subject to people approving the letter.
Yeah.
So I think we're covered.
Okay, no objections to that. We'll send a letter out then. Sounds good.
Head nods, yes.
Okay, acknowledged. Thank you. All right, anything else? Any recommendations for our May DD Council meeting?
One thing that I want to bring up, I know you got to go, and I'll forward this to you, is that Lanterman Housing Alliance, we're trying to get it in a budget ask. We had this last year, but COVID took priority. And so we're trying to get 150 million set aside for one-time funding to be allocated to the multi-family housing program, MHP, to be specifically for housing for people with IDD. And so we're trying to, I talked to Marty last week for his advice on how to do that because the committees aren't really working right now. And so he recommended to get to the governor. I think Aaron's helping us, state council's doing something with this ask for us, but I'm going to send it to you or send it out to the group so you can just see.
Okay.
We want to educate our legislators on it, everybody, Treasurer Ma, the legislators, the governor, everybody. We might not get it this year, but next year when it's brought forward.
Okay. That sounds great.
And anything for next week, next month, I got nothing.
All
Sorry.
right, well, if anyone can think of anything, email Maureen and I or the group, and we can definitely discuss it. All right, guys, stay safe. Thank you very, very much. This was a real good meeting. Thank you, Maureen, for pulling a rabbit out of a hat on this one. It was nice to see Stacy and Susan, huh?
Yes.
Which of their daughters came and did a presentation for us about 5 years ago?
I don't remember.
Was it Susan or Stacy? One of their daughters, who's a special ed teacher, did a little presentation for us, and they didn't want to act stupid and not, be able to. No one remembers. Okay. I'll ask them privately then.